Got ourselves a batch of shinies, Commander.
Welcome to Coordinated Fire, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast where winning a Shatterpoint GT is easier than renovating a bathroom because life is fun. How you guys doing?
Not renovating a bathroom. Well, yet, which is funny. I do need to do a bathtub reno, but you guys have been much more involved in this space
I have
lately.
been renovating a bathroom for someone else.
There you go.
And I have been around a bathroom being renovated and trying to help where I can. These are all different
home
bathrooms.
improvement.
The home improvement episode.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. I feel like it's been forever. It's been our regular 2 weeks, and I don't know why, but it could be just been wrapped up in this. But it feels like it's been a while.
Life has been lifing.
Yeah.
My new job's been keeping me super busy.
We've all been
I'll
having
tell you
trouble getting out. Like,
I was gonna say we've
part
also
of it
missed
is that we haven't seen each other.
missed our Thursdays. Fair enough. So on the docket tonight, we're going to talk about what we've been up to, and I think there's enough of a hint there from the intro. And we're going to talk about some of the boxes that we have full information about, which I'm super excited for. And then we're going to finish it off with a primary spotlight on Count Dooku himself. So Titus, I'll pass it over to you first on what you've been up to, because you've actually played a game with miniatures.
Well,
Ish.
Technically, I didn't play with miniatures because it was
Virtual
a tabletop
ones.
simulator game. But no, I got a game in for the TTS League with Randall Bowers. And it was a very good game. I was definitely feeling the lack of regular play. So to start off, he's a real good player. And we had a real good game. It went late, and we both definitely started making some sloppy mistakes towards the end of the game. And it just didn't pay off in my favor. But it was definitely making some of those mistakes that I look back and go, yeah, I wouldn't have done something like that when I was playing regularly.
Yeah, it's been a while. As everyone listening knows, obviously we've been trying some other games. We've taken a bit of a cool down, at least until the rebalance comes along, which I think we're all pretty anxious for at this point. That's not news anywhere.
Yes, please.
But yes, please.
It was cool, though, because I got to have a game in with the new mission, Strategic Positions, or I think that's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Continues to be great.
Yeah, it was great. And also, I got to play against someone else who plays Ahsoka 1, which was also really exciting because it's like she continues to be far better than I think anyone gives her credit for. And it drives me nuts that no one puts her on the table. So
It's a great primary.
Big shout out to Randall because he was playing both Anakin and Ahsoka. Like it was half his list was core sets.
That's super cool.
It was real good.
I love that. What I am excited about, though, from a game perspective, is we do have an event coming up this weekend.
I was gonna say in our intro, I think we missed that, but this is a great transition, and because the most gaming I've done is a Friday Night Commander night and maybe the new season of Diablo 4 tonight after this. That's about it. So let's talk about what we're playing on Saturday.
Yeah, so we have the Shatterpoint Celebration Day. This is an event that I am hosting. As you guys probably know, the Tablebound Open was supposed to be this weekend. The community kind of unilaterally voted that post-rebalance would be a better option for the TBO. So we're still working on when that's being rescheduled to, but we still had the space this weekend. So we've moved to a single day, calling it the Ontario Shatterpoint Celebration Day. And it's really what this is. I think we're not alone in the last few months has been a pretty crazy roller coaster when it comes to feelings about this game and where things are going. But we have an incredible community that I love hanging out with. And I think as things start to settle, new boxes are coming, rebounds are coming. I'm definitely seeing and feeling excitement in the air again, which is super nice to see. So I really wanted to just theme this around, let's celebrate this community and get everyone together, do a full day of gaming, ton of prizes, have a more casual day, but still give away a ton, which I'm super excited to be able to do and offer. So everyone that bought in, there will be at least your ticket price back in prizing. And I say at least because I may have gone overboard. But with that, really excited to just see everyone, get everyone together. As you guys know, our last couple events didn't quite fire as we would have wanted. But I think we're sitting at 17 right now.
Yeah, I noticed we picked up 3. Last time I looked, we were at 14. I think I looked a couple days ago. We picked up 3, which is nice.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we can hit that 20 mark, but I'm honestly we're above where I thought we'd be at this point as is, but always reaching for a little more. I'll throw it over to you guys. You guys excited for this weekend to get some games in? What are we thinking of playing?
I'm definitely excited. We're going to look really silly when the rebalance drops on Friday, but it is what it is.
I wish.
Hey, it could still happen. We don't know.
If it does, we're playing it.
Yeah, I think I'm hyped. The Table Bound Open, I think for us has always been a marquee event that since the first one has gained a lot of notoriety within our local community, and that's on the hard work and going a little overboard on the prizing on your behalf there, Kyle, which I think everybody just really appreciates, right? For me, I'm gonna keep it fairly casual. Like, it's literally just going to be a fun day. I'm not going super meta or anything. So my list right now, I'm kind of staying on my bullshit here a little bit. I'm going to be playing 1 Empire list and 1 Rebel list. So Grand Inquisitor, Third Sister, Fifth Brother, Moff Gideon, a Death Trooper Escort, and Dark Troopers.
Nice.
And then I took a little inspiration from Scott, aka Evil Houdini, for what he played at Adepticon. And I'm just going to kind of go and just try something here, go a little outside the box. So I'm going to play General Solo, Agent Callus, Rebel Commandos with Hera, Bodhi Rook, and Baze and Chirrut. And I'm going to be taking Never Tell Me the Odds as my mission. And it's just going to be a fun day. We're going to throw some models down. We win, great. We lose, whatever. We're trying some new stuff. One list there, obviously, I know fairly well, but the Hera and Han list, I saw that and I thought that looks really cool, and let's give it a shot.
I love it. Titus, What are you looking at?
As usual, I am torn between 3 different options in terms of a premier. So like three strike teams, I should say, because I for one, I want to keep playing Ahsoka Ki-Adi-Mundi because I think it's a really good list. I really like it, and it's outside the current like boogeyman, but still plays well. So and it's something I do well with. That one is probably locked in, but I have 2 different options to complement that. One is I kind of want to get Veers and Moff Gideon on the table because I really enjoy Veers, and this would be my last chance to really put my money where my mouth is before the rebalance happens. Because I keep saying, like, I think it can compete, but it's always the one that's cut. So it would be nice to get that out there before rebalance when we know he's changing. The other option is one that I've had a lot of fun with, which is the Hera Jyn list. Well, I mean, it changes depending on who's playing it, but the basic idea is fairly, like, it's centered around the 2 primaries. In this case, I'm undecided what I would play with it. It's probably the Jyn box, then Hera with Commandos, and insert secondary I feel like bringing that day.
It's got to be Callus, right?
I think so.
I don't know. I really like Sabine giving movement because Hera really needs movement.
I mean, listen, if you listen to the episode, Matt Bronson and Kenny, their latest episode, he was singing Sabine's praises pretty good on that episode.
See what that list in particular, like, it's built for Callus.
I know, and like I've been very much on board saying Callus is drastically overrated, but this is one list where he really makes sense. Like, overrated does not mean bad.
Yes.
It just means not as good as some people think he is.
That's fair.
I still think he's a very good piece, and if he's going to be good, it's in this list. I am chronically predisposed to going towards more movement. Every time I look at a list, I go, this needs more movement.
I get it.
It doesn't matter what it has. The only list I've ever had where I'm like, okay, this is enough, was Thrawn Grand Inquisitors, because Thrawn just does so much.
Yeah, that list has enough.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, but by and large, it's probably just going to be whatever I feel like the night before, but who knows? Maybe I'll go with the Rebels and Empire and leave Republic at home for once.
I would love to see a very low Cassian day. Like, anybody that's coming, that's listening to this, I'm going to put it out right now. I would like to see the lowest amount of Cassian that we have seen at an event ever, or maybe even none. Like, I will put the challenge out there to anybody coming that's listening to this. Do not bring Cassian at all.
That's not happening, especially now that you've put it out there.
I just put
Trevor
it out there.
Messaged me yesterday and was like, so how much Cassian or Boss are we expecting for Saturday? And I said very little and definitely none from us. And that was without even talking to you guys, because I made an assumption. And I'm glad that was correct. I think everyone's feeling the same way. I don't expect much of it. I really...
Yeah. If this was an event that we were going to playing to win, might be a different story. But considering it is literally just to go hang out with people and have a big fun time with a bunch of people we love hanging out with, I don't feel the need to shove Cassian in there. Like, he's fun, but it just feels bad at this point.
It just feels so meh.
Like, I want him to get a light touch nerf, because like he does do things that no one else does that can really make a cool list run. But like, playing him how he is now, it feels bad for winner and loser.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Awkward silence. Yes, it does.
I'm glad you guys have put more thought into this than I have, because with the change in event, I am playing this weekend and very excited to be. I have no idea what I'm playing. I literally no clue. I have some stuff.
Okay, so hear me out.
Yeah.
Boss and Cassian, same list.
It would probably be fine.
Oh, you just put Wrecker and Echo and Tech with Cassian.
No, I'm not doing that to anybody. Because of how rusty I am, I'm very, very tempted to go kind of just a Republic core into a comfort zone.
That starts with Obi-Wan.
I would have said Dooku Vader 1, but that doesn't work anymore.
No,
take it back to that.
Oh my god, I would do that with the new B1s though. But no, that's not even on the table.
I mean, it could be.
No.
You just put Barriss with Dooku. The B1s don't go into melee anyway.
But they did. And now Titus, you could get to that crit.
That single crit on 4 expertise.
Why on earth would you be going into melee with B1?
Because sometimes if you roll a dice, it goes well.
Oh my gosh.
Meleeing with Vader dice with those B1s won me my final game in that TTS league way long ago. I was just fishing for I just needed the reposition.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's all it needed. Anyway, it's definitely Padme. I wanted to give a last outing to Padme before that full box kind of changes. So I'm doing something with Padme.
Are you going full Padme box?
TBD.
I think you should, because Sabe, regardless of how cool the change is, it's a drastic change. And we've all been on board. She is actually a really good secondary as is.
She really, really is.
Yeah, it's the full box. YOLO, come on.
Cat on the other side, because I've been wanting to get Cat on the...
Oh my gosh. I will be so jealous if you go Padme
as is.
Cad.
I'm playing in Grand Inquisitor and Moth boxes
Oh,
as
it
is.
wouldn't be box as is. Cad has options now.
Yeah.
No. If you go Padme Cad, you go Dengar, Han and Chewie.
Yes.
Like, that is the Padme Cad combo right there.
You guys are going to make me figure something out.
I was seriously contemplating taking that, but these other lists just were higher on the priority list. So it's easier for me to just cut it out right away.
But I will be digging around with something. I still need to prep everything for the event. So we'll see if we can get some painting done, because fun fact, my CAD box is still unassembled.
Unassembled? I can help you with that if you need. But
yeah, I know lots of people can help me, but it might actually give me an excuse to do it.
A little motivation.
And I have these wonderful paint markers here that I've been really wanting to take for a spin.
Nice.
Does anyone know what mission they're taking?
Well, I was just planning on taking strategic positions.
Okay, me too.
I want to play it more.
Sean, would you like to take strategic positions?
The one that you have for me that I still... Yeah, sure. I'll get that off you at some point. Maybe
Yeah,
on Saturday.
you'll get it off me on Saturday.
Sweet. Yeah, strategic positions or never tell me the odds, either or.
Sean, if you end up going odds, I may borrow that off of you, because I haven't gotten one yet.
You don't have a strategic position yet?
No.
So I don't know if my lists... I guess Grand Inquisitor and Moth might be okay on strategic positions. I don't know.
I'm not
if
sure
Han and Hera would be very good there.
On it.
If somebody wants to get a hold of Torchlight, I can maybe stop by and pick one up for you on the way home.
I might take you up on that.
But
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just super excited to play some games. It has been way too
me too.
long. We've got a day of games. I'm excited to see everybody.
That's the big one. Like, having missed both our monthly events the last 2 months, I haven't been out for Thursday nights. Like, I am dying for social interaction.
Yeah, same.
And what I hope this does too is that I hope it kind of snowballs us into like this event, rebalance, and then Battle for Breath. Like I really hope this has a bit of a snowball effect for us because we do have, hopefully they're listening here, we have some of our friends from BC who have locked in and are coming for Battle for Breath. Dylan
Amazing.
and Jeff. Dylan actually messaged me a couple days ago. I forget when exactly. He said he's locked in. They're good to go. Jeff's coming, and they're actually trying to get some more people to come from BC as well too. So
That's
hello,
super
Hello,
exciting.
BC friends. We are ready for you for Battle for Breath.
I'm gonna need to figure out if I can play this event. Dang, table-bound responsibilities. And it's rebalance. Honestly, some things I'm excited to talk about post rebalance. We still need to schedule when exactly we're doing that, but I know we're talking about doing our draft, our one-day draft event again.
We were talking about
Basically-
maybe doing it on the cast, like do our draft on the cast too. So
Which I think would be a ton of fun.
it might happen. Don't hold us to that, anybody. But
Hold us to that. Make us do it.
No, I think we should, and I think it would be easy to do.
Yeah. But I think going into post rebalance, there's definitely going to be some characters that we're all fighting to get a shot on the table. So I think that will be a ton of fun. I'm excited to get just back to some normalcy when it comes to playing, which I think, again, new boxes, rebalance, and some cool events coming up is going to check all of those boxes. So
Yep.
Sweet. Speaking of new boxes coming up, we now have a full picture of what's in the Morgan and Balin boxes. We talked a lot about Morgan as a primary on the last episode, but Sean, do you want to kind of jump in there first if there's anything you want to add? I know you, I think, are most excited about this one.
Yeah. So fantastic episode last week, guys. This is what I've been waiting for. Obviously, I've been very vocal about Empire needing some love and needing something, and I think Morgan in this box is really exciting. I think the first places that I want to try her. You guys spoke about Thrawn. I'm also interested in seeing what happens with Krennic with this box as well too. And then just seeing maybe post rebalance if Stormtrooper synergies and something, Kyle, you've talked about that you want to try as well too. If Stormtrooper synergy can become more of a, not even I guess maybe a competitive thing. I guess it doesn't matter if it's competitive or not, but just more of a thing, right? It just feels like it's been on the cusp for so long. It just needs a little bit of a push.
Yeah, like Death Troopers and Shore Troopers are both
so good. I love both of them. I play both
great
of them.
supports.
Yeah, they're really good.
But they're great 4-cost supports in a world of really impressive 5-cost ones currently.
yeah, that's the big thing.
That's it, because I would compare them to any other 4-cost support in the game, and they're going to hold up and have a great game. This gives Empire its first 5-cost support, and they're interesting.
They are super interesting, and what I think they do is, depending on how this rebalance goes, potentially maybe brings back the Thrawn and Moth lists as well too a little bit, right? Like a movement control type of list, because if they can stand fast on objectives, that was the big thing, right? Is that when they brought out the Jin box, it took Cassian, and with that box with base and turret, and I've heard this on other casts where Rebels got a very good damage along with everything else. Like they had everything, right? I think it was actually it was Kenny and Matt were talking about this, how the Thrawn and Moth control style died when the Cassian and Jin boxes came out. So if we can get that
when anything can just die, point control doesn't work.
Point control doesn't work, right? So if we can get that toned down, bring something like these Stormtrooper zombies in, I think maybe this style that I personally really like, I know a lot of other people like to play too, can make a bit of a comeback.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Moff Gideon could even take these guys, because I was like, oh, but they're arrow locked. That definitely makes me a little more excited about them, because I already want to be playing Moff Gideon Veers, and if I could throw these in my Moff Gideon squad, like that does so much better. We should probably talk about what they actually do.
They don't die.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah, moving.
So they're the new B1s, is what you're telling me.
Yes. We have undying supports all over the place.
Yep. So yeah, they don't die. They shove decently reliably. They have a ranged attack, which I wasn't expecting for zombies. But
They're surprisingly fast for zombies. Dark Innervation is... They're going to get that first injure token pretty quick.
they also get a dash on their attack tree. It's not easy to get to, but occasionally you'll just have them just sprinting after people.
Right, which is why I love this, right? Because as we know, one of Thrawn's battle tactics is dash to support, right? So if you can line, if it works out, Thrawn battle tactic, these guys have a movement along with, like you said, Titus with additional movement on their card. These guys can boogie around the board, I think, pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they're tough. They're fast. No, they're not tough from that expertise. That's not where that's coming from. They just...
No.
They have some really great abilities to stay up and adjust dice.
I look at them and say, if B1s had to have their hit points nerfed, why can they not have the dice that these guys have? Because 5 dice on ranged and melee is ridiculously good for this style of unit, where they're just supposed to be like
5 dice on the defense.
Yeah, like they're injury tanks, right? So like, why do they need good defense dice too?
Now, offensively, there's not much going on here. I don't think there's any hiding from that.
They shove on 1.
6 dice on range, 5 in melee. And Titus, to your point, and I think the most important thing these guys are going to consistently do is they shove on 1.
Yeah.
And both of their melee or ranged expertise lean really well into, you'll probably get 1 success through it.
And like the B1s, at least I think the B1s are repositioned on 2. These guys expose on 2, which can make that second attack a lot better, or they could just spread out a lot of exposed conditions. 2 is decently reliable.
For a tough point holder, shove is the thing you want, and they got it. You get to 3 successes, you get to shove twice. And the good news is yes, we're on low dice, but these guys have access to a few really good tools in Empire to adjust that depending on the list build.
Well, you got Stormtrooper Sergeant, you got Vader 1. Those two
Those are the two team.
Add quite a bit. Moff Gideon to a lesser degree.
But relevant. I think an extra dice on that melee attack just
when you're at 5, going to 6 is a huge jump.
Yeah, and then if you can spike. If you spike, you get double shove. Even just on 1 attack, a double shove would be nice.
I really like that we're seeing a 5-cost support whose job isn't just really consistent dice and damage. Because...
Yeah, and I think and I'm glad you brought that up, Kyle, because I think from what we've seen with other 5-cost supports, I think these Night Troopers are actually going to be a unit that a lot of people are going to say they're bad because they don't have a great attack. But again, like I've talked about before, when you're playing these different strategies and these different styles, particularly within Empire, you have to change your thinking a little bit on that. Yeah, okay, it's not going to be a huge damage turn, but it's going to be an impactful turn to move, shove stuff around, good movement. And again, like they may, if they're close to Morgan, they may not even have to pay a force for that move, that dash, or that
100%.
That advance. She just takes 1 damage or 2 damage, whatever, bonk, and then they can move too after. So this is a little bit of a thinking man's support, I guess is what I'll kind of say.
I don't know. I feel like their strengths are obvious enough. I don't know that people are going to say they're bad right off the bat just because the attacks are bad. We'll see, though. Maybe
I think
my faith is misplaced.
They're really unique. To be honest, one of the first units I've read in this game in a long time that I don't know. I'm not getting the read by just reading this. I, in theory, understand what it's going for and what it's trying to do. And if that works, it's a playstyle I love, and this is great.
Yeah.
It's really cool, yeah.
I don't know if it's going to play that way. And I'm genuinely in a boat of like, I'm having trouble getting a read before playing these.
I really think they're going to be phenomenal with the new Veers, because being able to forward deploy these and then having an extra defense die on top of their already good defense is...
Yeah, I like that.
Plus, they have defensive tech on their card. Like, they get to turn down expertise on the opposing.
I think we're going to see defensive Empire get a few different really cool buffs here.
Yeah, I think fortressing Empire is going to be a thing.
I think what I'm interested in, Titus, you brought it up, is how well they can function without access to animated Beyond Death. Like, is playing these with Moff Gideon without Morgan going to be an option.
So unnatural vigor quickly becomes expensive if you are getting injured, but it also gets stronger. So like that makes up for the cost a bit.
Yes.
I don't know. It's hard to read. You're right.
Yeah.
At this point, like knowing how viable they are without that. I don't often see supports clear the table.
That's what I mean. And like,
So, like-
because they don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, the one I think you guys are maybe missing too is these guys also play very well with Krennic as well too. Like it deployed the garrison attack from these guys too, and again with shove on one.
The 5-dice attack is just their attack. Woo.
Yeah, they're already
It's
balanced
just their
around
attack,
the
right? You
5-die attack.
get one, and you're shoving on the deploy the garrison ability as well too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying
I
these
can
guys
definitely
out.
see that.
Do we want to touch on Enoch a little bit before we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think Enoch is interesting as well too. He's definitely not Stormtrooper Sergeant. I mean, let's put that out there right now. You know what I mean? But what I think is really super unique about him is again giving movement. Right? Again, we're very very movement heavy here, which I like, along with Thrawn's battle tactics and everything else that Empire can do. The coordinated fire strain is super interesting too.
Coordinated fire strain is just great. We know it's great.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful, again, because in these movement lists, previously with Thrawn and Moff, the whole idea was I can move, but you can't, right? So if we're tossing around strains from Enoch, we're tossing strains from potentially Dark Troopers as well, too. That's a really great place to be in. And then with manipulating hand, both on Morgan and potentially even Mother Talzin, more coordinated fire strains is very, very good for both of them.
Yeah, and add in die well does mean that those night troopers, as long as it's set up, which it wouldn't be hard to do with a range 5, are very likely attacking into an exposed target.
Yes, and Stormtroopers also. Like, if you go with Stormtroopers, Snow Troopers, I know they're not popular now, but we'll see what happens in the rebalance. They have a lot of healing, so they don't necessarily care about being exposed. In fact, Empire already kind of has tech built around that with the Dark Trooper specialist, and like there's already ways to do this that Empire is pretty adept at dealing with. This is just kind of the easy access that they've had, and I don't think they'll have any problems clearing that condition.
So I actually really like Enoch from a 3-cost perspective. One, Empire is getting its second 3-cost 9 health secondary. While this fella may not be Stormtrooper Sergeant, that is above and beyond what anyone else gets. Add in pretty good expertise conversion on defense with 5 dice and 5 dice again. 1 and 1 and 2 for 2 is great conversion on 5 dice. Again, a tree and expertise on this stance with a high floor and a very low ceiling means, again, he can take advantage of some low dice attacks. There's nothing on this attack tree that I would look at and say I love. But Sean, to your point, just playing that body control game,
Helps
a
a lot.
9 health secondary with good expertise, he's going to play into that job.
Yeah.
I think he's good, and I don't necessarily want to play him across from Stormtrooper Sergeant because a lot of their triggers conflict. But they're comparable, like Stormtrooper Sergeant a bit better. He's more mobile, but like
I don't think you play him without Night Troopers, is my short from reading this card.
Yeah, I think they're fairly attached.
Yeah, like he's
Unless-
super slow.
yeah, unless we get another Stormtrooper melee focus, which would probably be a rebalance thing more than a new unit. Because Snow Troopers, we see them storming a base. They're all in tight corridors. Maybe they get some like melee focus stuff. That's the only other way I could see you wanting Enoch over
Him
Sergeant.
only getting a dash for himself if it's a Night Trooper. He is so slow.
Kind of locks.
without
Yeah,
this.
I agree. Yeah, it's the same situation with like Krennic and Death Troopers, right? Like those two are kind of locked to each other because they help
he can't target
him
himself.
so much. Yeah, I agree. I would agree with there, Kyle.
Yeah, he cannot target himself.
He can't
Yeah.
cover himself. No.
Well,
If he could double dash off that would be a different.
I was about to say Han and Chewie, but you
Sweet.
got to have 2 different tags. Yeah,
Yes, you do.
he's pretty roped in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've looked at him a lot, and we'll get to Balin here in a second, but Balin, in the era he's in as a 7-cost primary, that would kind of be his forced entry into being able to play with Empire. And every time I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know how to make this work.
It's you got to put him across from the Night Troopers if you're trying to go Balin, and that's still really awkward.
Night Troopers as well too, and we haven't noted this yet. Large base as well.
Yes.
Which I think has a bit of a double-edged sword scenario to it, but like backstopping the Night Troopers, I think is going to be really, really great as well too.
To Titus's point on playing with Veers, a forward deployed large base
Is real
goes
sweet.
a long way.
A very defensive forward deploy large base
Yes.
that doesn't die. Like that. I'm
Right.
excited for that. I'm so excited.
No, I think this is going to really shore up a playstyle with Empire that, again, has been touched upon, especially with old Dark Troopers, that has had a hard time finding a home in current meta. This opens up a ton of options. Anything you guys are going top of, I think we've touched on lists we would play. I think we've mentioned Veers, Krennic.
Veers, Krennic, Thrawn.
I know
those
some
are
of the
top
chats
three.
have been pairing Morgan with Talzin because there is some synergies there. From seeing these guys in depth in this box, this is an Empire pairing.
I really think Vader 1 is also a strong contender. Getting the Night Troopers melee focus stuff with the Vader buff, and they don't conflict, which is nice. That's always something I'm looking for, triggers that kind of double up but don't cancel each other out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure that box is a purchase for me, but we'll see what happens with some rebalance.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely picking it up. Like, it
Oh
looks
yeah,
cool.
this is day one. Yeah,
again,
I've been waiting for this one.
What's an Empire? I don't know.
What's an Empire? What is it?
Well, it's because you don't have the CT box.
It's because I'm missing
supports the
it.
game.
Clearly, that's what I'm missing. Let's be real. I'll end up buying it because I have a problem.
Yeah.
But you didn't buy the CT box.
I didn't buy a CT box because I don't have that kind of problem.
Moving into our next one. Mr.
So
Balin.
we've got Balin. So we touched on this when Balin's card was previewed before. We've known most about what he does personally for some time. I love Hunker shenanigans. I am all in for Hunker shenanigans. There is a lot that I really like about this box.
Yeah.
About Balin. Balin.
But the elephant in the room is now we know he's a 7-point era locked.
Yes,
Which
we sure do.
Yeah, that's
rough.
So
rough.
we know his attack tree. That is also new,
yes.
which I actually don't think I want to touch on much other than saying it's incredible.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. Like
He's
an
a
absolute-
beast.
He's an
Your Gemso side is very much I need something dead and I need damage. Naman, I can say that probably.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sure.
Form
Yeah, that's
5.
close.
Form 6.
Somebody
Six.
correct us in
I feel bad. That's 6. That's very obviously 6.
It's 6.
Form 6. Yeah, Form 6.
This is incredible. This is a great tree that gives a ton of versatility.
Lots of healing.
There is good healing there. Defensively, I'm pretty happy with the profile here. Taking the sacrifice of a die from the other side, I think, is a well worth it trade-off. In my mind, he lives on this side most of the time.
Yeah, this is such a toolbox tree that's doing a lot. I agree.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
on the
it's
flip
really good.
side, Gemso has a purpose. And it is if you have enough hunkers to guarantee you can get to that 5+ expertise,
Yeah.
I mean,
For-
even getting to the 3-4 is pretty good.
is really good. So there is definitely going to be a time of I need the thing in front of me dead, where you are going to use this. I love Balin's design. Balin, I think, is one of the best characters introduced to Star Wars in a very long time. I'm excited for this box and this character.
I agree.
Can I say sad things now? Am I allowed to say sad things now?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. Let's go to the sad part. Which is interesting because like we're such polar opposites. Like I'm so into like Morgan's box, but like this for me is just it does nothing.
Mechanically, it makes me so happy, and I just wish he was more playable outside his box.
Yeah, so again, and we touched on it briefly, but being a 7-cost primary
In a largely unexplored era.
in an unexplored era means he's playing with his box and the options for anything else are exceptionally limited. So he's got his box, which you can play with and find, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying a box out of the box. And Shin, his secondary here is very good. Honestly,
Squishy.
she just
But good.
synergizes very, very well with this box. It is everything you'd want with Balin. A just pretty violent, but great 4-cost secondary. I have no real notes here. I don't think you play them outside of this box.
I don't think so either. I mean, there's been talk about like having Shin in some spots, but like, yeah, I agree. I think you have to keep this box together. I mean, it just
Yes. Now, the
I
part
don't
you
see-
don't have to keep together is the support,
is the HKs.
which is the HK, which have all eras. Now, here's my pro before I get to the overall feelings. Having a generic 3-cost support that can be played anywhere, any era in the game is incredible. This is something that we've needed for a long time. It opens up a ton of list building in a few eras that are underdeveloped. It gives a generic option when you're trying to be a little more creative with some 7 squad point primaries. On the flip side, I don't think they're very good at all.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think they're very situational, but they definitely have a use. And that use is mostly if you are looking for a really heavy control list and need a 3-pointer. Like,
Yeah,
they double
will-
shove on 2. They only do 1 damage. So if you're going against something that's heavy revenge, these guys put in a lot of work because it's one of the few units in the game where you can attack and do no damage and still get a shove.
with again a decent floor on the expertise offensively.
Yep.
Honestly, my issue starts and ends with 4 defensive dice, expertise, and 7 health.
Yeah, the 7 health, I think, yeah, I agree, really hurts. Really hurts here for any sort of staying power.
At this point, how many things can just do 7 on either 1 attack or a support doing a dual attack? Their job will be to die. Now, I could have found a ton of places where I would have been happy to play these guys if they had the scoundrel tag. I understand why they don't. That would not be thematic, and it's not. Droids can't be scoundrels.
That's not
Sure.
true.
What about Bounty Hunter?
Oh, they can. A bounty hunter would have been cool.
Both
think,
IGs are scoundrels.
It's fair.
I think
Bounty hunter would have been really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Bounty Hunter on these guys would have been very, very interesting.
Scoundrel and bounty hunter would have helped these find a home in a lot more places
Yes.
and been viable. Even a 3-cost that can go in a riff list somewhere to be able to trigger riff. I would have been, even in their current state, the amount of list building options alone that would open up, I would have been all in.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Like they're nothing to write home about. It is nice to have the fact that they are all 4 eras and they are a 3-point support. It opens up a lot of list building options that we didn't have before. But like, you're right. They're very limited in what they can do. They are as generic can be. 2 of their tags don't really do anything. Droid and mercenary being only for Shakti and Thrawn. And then Trooper usually doesn't do anything unless you have a faction tag to go with it. So like,
Yes.
none of their tags are really doing any work. And yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, the Unstoppable Machine ability too is actually, I'm reading here, that it's extremely narrow as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize
engage with a primary. Like,
I didn't realize it was primaries at first.
yeah, engage with the primary feels very, very narrow because like the scenario is they're taking a point, they're double teaming a point off of a primary, or they somehow survived a primary attack and they're still there.
And
I think it's pretty common to be sending supports to double team a point off of a primary, to be fair.
it is.
Yeah.
Like that is a very common play pattern.
You add in that target priority protocols also is looking for attacks into primary characters, and they very clearly have a role they're supposed to be doing that I don't think is where you want to put.
No, the
Roundabout way was what I'm
Yes.
trying to
Like,
get at here.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I don't think you want to send these guys after primaries despite their abilities incentivizing that. To me, I'm like, you just split them up, push things off points, and when they die, hopefully you have some revenge trigger to take advantage of it. You should if you're taking these.
Yes. Outside of this box, you need to have a revenge trigger, I would say.
Yeah, I would love to be proven wrong. I would take it. I do think they'll see play in this box. Again, they do line up with the hunker synergy with Balin. And that's kind of where I'm stuck with Balin. These guys can be a ton of different places. Balin himself can play his box. There is
That's pretty much it.
he can play his box.
He
The
could
other
go Empire.
secondaries he can take.
He could take Bo-Katan instead of Shin and throw him into a Mandalorian list.
But then you have to play the support.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not amazing. I think the reason you would do that is if you want to get Gar Saxon playing across from Balin, because I think that is probably one of the characters that benefits the most from Balin's kit.
Which takes away Mando being there, which
Yeah.
would have been a great thing across.
Oh, for sure. You're paying a huge cost.
Yeah.
But you still get some of that Mandalorian stuff. You can get one of those kind of classic Mandalorian primaries from year one.
Yep.
Where you
The
get
Maul, the
Ahsoka,
Ahsoka.
Maul, Luminara,
Yeah.
which can still do good work.
So taking a look, there are only 5 secondaries that can go with Balin. They are Bo-Katan and Death Trooper Escort as 4s. That forces you to take the 3 HK droids in the box. The only way to avoid the HK droids are to put a 3-cost secondary with him, and your options there are Enoch or Grief Karga.
You're not doing Grief Karga.
So
You shouldn't.
my hope here at this point, genuinely, is that we see Grief Karga get some love with this rebalance, which I think will actually open up a ton of options for Balin.
Would it open a whole lot up, though? Because, like, if you're going Grief Karga, you pretty much want to go Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
But, like, people generally say the Bounty Hunters aren't playable either for very similar reasons to the HK droids.
Maybe they get some love.
Yeah, again, we're kind of hoping both of them get touched.
I'm coming at this from the fact that I want to play Balin across from
what, sorry?
the Mandalorian. I want
Gotcha.
Mando. And that allows me to take Grief with Bounty Hunters, Mando, Dengar.
This might be a hot take, but I still think if you're wanting to do hunker shenanigans, Obi is a better pairing for Mando than Balin is, just because of the list building difficulties.
I hate that. I hate
if
that
Grief
so much.
and Bounty Hunters both get buffed, I still think Obi's a better spot for it.
Honestly, if Balin was 8 and I could take Bo-Katan and the coverts here,
yep,
I would have a Mando list that I was super excited about.
%. If he was an 8, none of this problem exists. But having a 7-pointer stuck in an era where there's very few options, it just kills a unit. I mean, even sometimes having 8-pointers in a list with no options, or in an era with no options, is tough. Look at CT. Like,
yeah, that's fair. Does he have any play with Empire, you think?
You could go Enoch Dark Troopers.
It's got to be Enoch Dark Troopers, which, again, your Dark Troopers are nice, but
Enoch not terrible.
But Enoch wants Stormtroopers. You're doubling coordinated fire strain.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's a nice backup. It
creates more coverage.
I don't think
at the very
bad.
least.
You're getting coordinated fire strain is the best coordinated fire right now, in my opinion, and having an extra source of it is not a bad thing.
You'd be Enoch Dark Troopers. And then, honestly, that's going to come down to whether Empire can really take advantage or add any hunker synergies, which is going to come down to Stormtrooper or Snowtrooper Lieutenants rebalance.
Or Elite Squad Troopers, which
Elite Squad Troopers
a lot of people think are good. The
Yep.
problem there is they give the hunker after the attack. So you're really relying on using it for defensive stuff, not offensive stuff.
I think everything's
shot in the dark, maybe. I don't know.
If Snowtrooper Lieutenant gets buffed, I could see the Empire thing coming together.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Which I think we know is getting... No, we only know that
Firebrand also. Firebrand also gives out hunkers. Just straight up says, here, you get a hunker.
Okay, free. So I think that Balin and CT box, it would be worth giving a shot. You lose almost the entirety of Enoch's kit.
You lose everything but the coordinated fire strain.
Yes.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's been interesting in terms of the Empire talk, and they've come up 2 or 3 times. I think the Snowtroopers, what happens with them,
is going to dictate a lot of stuff.
It's going to dictate like what happens with Empire. Like we've brought it up 2 or 3 times tonight.
Stormtroopers getting a buff would also help Empire a lot. And they should. We should see Stormtroopers on the table.
Stormtroopers should be the main thing I see when I see an Empire list, and it hasn't been for the lifetime of this game.
Stormtrooper Sergeant has, but not Stormtroopers.
Not the support, no.
Yeah.
But that being said, the whole Balin box is super thematic. It looks super great. And if there's more toning down in this rebalance than I think we're expecting, I could see this box as is having a good time.
I think it'll still get played as a box.
Yeah.
It's just I don't see it being splashed as much as we would have liked.
Thematically, people will be really excited for this box. But
Yeah.
yes, even just honestly, Balin and Morgan together is enough that like the box is generic enough that you could really play it with anything and make it work, which really feels like the intention.
Yes.
And we got the bonus of a 3-cost support that can be played anywhere. Which again, I will buy this box just for that support to have access to it for when I want to play something stupid that doesn't work without having access to this. In terms of competitive viability, obviously these are built to exist in a meta state that we're just completely unaware of at this point. They're fine, both boxes. There's certainly nothing that stands out to me as this is busted. This is a problem, which is different from our last few releases we received.
Yeah,
and I'd
fair.
rather be this direction than that direction. So
like having things come out that have a specific place and home but don't really go anywhere else is not
Is
a bad
probably a good
Yeah.
state.
And then the biggest thing too, again, with the rebalance is those things that have a home and a place being able to be played in the way that they're intended to be played and can be viable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you don't feel like just because you want to go a certain direction, you're going to be handicapped off the hop.
Agreed. Yeah,
You know what I
these are
mean?
perfect.
Like,
These are both perfectly playable boxes. And I think what's really cool about both of these boxes is we talked a lot more about melee synergies and where these units thrive than we have in a while in this game. We have had a relatively ranged dominated meta, except for Kiadi holding down the fort in that distant third place spot compared to our Cassian and Boss lists, which both have pretty incredible ranged firepower. We know and have confirmation that those things are being toned down. And I think a lot of the stuff that's bubbling up right underneath that is going to be a lot of melee threats. And I think this game thrives in a melee environment when melee is your high damage output, which means we might, and I would count on it, see a return of Count Dooku as a relevant piece.
Count Dooku's always been good in melee metas and then suffers in ranged metas.
Yeah, and I think there will be enough guarantee that you will be seeing consistent melee that he is worth a spot in the list.
is this our primary spotlight transition?
It sure is. It sure
I
is.
have to open up the card because I
So
plan ahead.
I'll jump into to Senior Dooku here, leader of the Separatist army.
Is that where he's been? Is that where he's been hiding in Mexico?
Yeah, that's where he's been.
He's been the whole time. Holy
we call
shit.
the shelf that exists in everyone's mini hobby area, Mexico.
That was bad. That was a bad
Yep.
one.
Dooku is the leader of the Separatist army. Tactic. So at the start of this unit's activation, choose another allied Separatist alliance character within 3. Each character in this unit and the chosen character may dash. Now, perfectly fine tactic ability. It definitely shows its age in terms of the game. Allied Separatist alliance is a perfectly reasonable expectation. Within range 3, I think I want to say the only tactic like this that is limited to range 3.
There's others, but they're usually range 4.
They're usually range 4. Some are 5. Some have none.
I mean, give him a break.
Bad.
He's an old man. He can't yell very well.
He is an old man. It's not like he leads an entire faction that would communicate over long range radio transmission.
Have you seen him carry any of those things?
But he's the leader of the Separatist army. But no, he's just yelling at people to move. Perfectly fine tactic is great early. Typically, once everything's moved, I find it very rare that this is in range of anything specifically because Dooku does so well at just holding an objective on his own that's where he normally is.
Yeah. That's
Into the next one of surely you can do better. When a character in this unit is targeted with an attack, this unit may spend 1 to 3 force to use this ability. While modifying the attack roll, change 1 hit results to a fail for each force spent.
So this is an ability that you're just taunting your opponent with the amount of force you have to throw away because
And
it is
to be
probably
clear,
the least efficient use of force in the game. And
but he is a
Dooku can afford it.
4-force. He's a 4-force primary whose identity refreshes force. And yes,
You're just rubbing sand in the wound of your opponent's force economy.
The short answer is you don't attack Dooku.
Yeah.
That's always been.
Because
Okay.
next we get into Twice the Pride, Double the Fall. This is a reactive in 1 force ability, which is after a melee attack targeting an allied character within 2 is resolved. This unit may use this ability. If the attack roll contained no, then is important because it doesn't say it here, but if the attack roll contained no hit results, one character in this unit may dash and make a 5-die attack targeting the attacking character.
Melee attack Dooku. I've done it several times and it's lost me the game
Never,
almost as many times.
ever.
So I played Dooku very recently against Brandon, and we were testing the new B1s. And it was actually relevant that doesn't say Dooku, that says an allied character within 2. And Dooku was able to defend something else.
I've honestly never realized he can do that.
No. I was reading everything, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't have to be Dooku.
And he comes with Magna Guards, whose whole thing is stopping you from attacking.
Yes.
Anyway,
Shit, you're right.
Yeah.
I feel stupid. It's been years, like
Light
literal
bulb
years.
moment. What the hell? We're so bad at this.
We're so bad at this.
We're so
And we have
bad.
a
I had never
podcast.
had it. I don't think I'd ever had it be relevant before, and it just happened to have the perfect moment where this stopped Brandon from taking a point.
I guess you can't guarantee they're not going to have any hit results when it's not Dooku being attacked.
Yeah, this
No,
feels
but-
this.
So yes and no. One, you get to decide if you're using it
Yeah.
once you know. And the attack that Brandon was putting through just happened to end up all crits that were the successes.
Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't include stuff that blocks get rid of, does it?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No, so again, the application is rare.
Yeah.
But having a recent relevant time for this was really cool. And the last one, and the best part of Dooku's card, is Brave but Foolish. Once per turn, when an allied primary unit or allied secondary unit is wounded by an enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, refresh 2 force. Then choose an allied Separatist Alliance supporting unit. One character in the chosen unit may dash or make a 5-dice attack.
So in some ways, it's actually very similar to Cassian's identity because you're allowing other things to reposition in whatever direction you want. It's just that
Except for the
Separatist
100
supports-
ways why it's worse.
Well, yeah, except for Separatist supporting units tend to be dead, so they can't necessarily contest points with this.
Now, I think the updated B1s puts a very interesting wrench in the viability of this ability.
Yes.
Because the method to get around this for forever at this point has always been you just wound the supports. Make sure the supports are dead and don't wound anything else unless you need to.
Yeah, that's always
And-
been against Separatist game plan. Yeah.
That's the against Separatist game plan. And
And-
now that we have undying B1s, it leaves you with one support in the list that is a viable, safe target that does not give your opponent any benefit for killing.
Yeah, like the B1's staying alive now. B1 staying alive now is super useful because A, they can always dash and be on a point, contest it. Similar to what's good about one of the benefits of Cassian's ability. But also they have a reposition on 2. So if you don't absolutely need the movement or you need a reposition to get to where you're going,
Yep.
you can attack with them and you might get it. In fact, there's a decent chance you get it.
B1 attacks are pretty surprising. So playing with the updated B1s, I am pretty convinced at this point that they are now stapled to Dooku. Dooku gives you enough force to make sure you always have the force to keep them up and have them doing their thing. I don't see playing Dooku without them, despite his own love for the Magna Guards and having the Magna Guards close. With the current state of the Magna Guards, it would be the B1s 100% of the time in comparison.
Which is really cool that they've updated them to a point that for you to say that and for them to have such good synergy here. You know, with Dooku, that's really cool. That feels like a really great update. That is impactful. For Separatists, past everything else. I mean, we don't have to go through it. I mean, we know where Separatists are, but
B1s, I think, were already probably this is controversial, but I think they were already the best support in the faction.
With Rift's
They
release,
just weren't good with
yes.
Dooku.
Yeah.
And now they are.
To Dooku's attack trees for a sec, Makashi is an incredible tree for a lot of reasons. They're in a lot of ways, and like I fell in love with Dooku very early in this game, and this tree is a big part of why. One, this was an early lesson that early tree repositions are one of the most valuable things in this game, as are early shoves.
Yes.
Dooku's floor on his expertise in this tree is 2 crits, which is off the charts incredible and still one of the best expertise in the game.
In melee.
In melee, yes. Don't ranged attack on this side. I've done it because I really needed a reposition, but not the goal. From a defensive expertise, I'm more than happy with a block and crit to fail 1 to 2, and then 3 is a block, crit to fail, with 5 dice against ranged and 7 dice on melee, alongside Dooku's ability to turn hits into misses. This guy's just great. And the fact that for a lot of reasons due to the faction he's in, that this hasn't held up is really fascinating for being one of the best units in the game alongside Shatterpoint's release.
He's also relatively slow, and from Never Tell Me the Odds on, he started struggling
very badly.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Yeah. Going back to this Makashi tree,
it's so flexible.
I picked up very early on myself too, Kyle, what you were doing with that reposition on 1, and I was like, I had
because all of a sudden he's
a light bulb
slow.
moment. Yeah, he's not slow, and again, a repo puts him basically wherever you need him to go. Yeah, again, that repo on 1 is a very, very powerful weapon on that.
It does bring up kind of a point, though, where there's a difference between a reposition where you can still interact with things and a reposition where you cannot, because units that either can get a lot of movement before they attack or can get a lot of movement and then do like a force push or something, seem to do just significantly better than units that are only fast after they attack.
There is some points where Dooku just ends up stuck that he cannot get 2 bodies off of him.
He can get one off really well.
And the other criticism of him too is if he gets shoved off a point, that there are not great ways to get him back on.
There's nothing else that moves him.
No, right. Separatists are not good at moving.
So he can't get back on.
At moving primaries, sorry.
No Sarai can.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's relatively new. But yes. You will keep Dooku on Makashi most of the time.
Yes. His defense is just so much better in that side.
Now, Force Mastery has its place, and that is 8 dice, range 4 for ranged, with okay expertise, with some additional damage. But in short, you're using this side when Dooku can't reach his target. If you need to throw an attack out and Dooku can't get to what you wanted him to get to, the only time I am flipping him to this side and making a ranged attack is if I do not have a melee target. Now, what this tree does really well is hand out conditions, because you can usually get pretty down it, and a disarm, strain, and expose alongside 5 damage is not a bad story.
I was going to say that bottom half is disgusting.
Usually it'll be 6 damage too, because you're going to get something off expertise.
I have definitely gone the top half trying to fish for that reposition to, again, just to get somewhere. But even then, I'm actually going to do the 6 dice ranged attack on Makashi and hope for 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's fair. Yeah.
If what I need is a reposition, I'm still going Makashi, which is where, again, he will live.
I could see an argument for going top tree if you were running Magna Guards and you just need to get a pin strain off them.
Yes.
But that's the only reason I could see going up there.
Yep. And I've definitely used that for that purpose before. Dooku is a defensive melee primary overall. That is the thing he is good at, is the thing he is best at, and still one of the best in the game at that role. What has impacted Dooku throughout this game is the last 2 significant time metas that we've had have been dominated by fast ranged models.
Yes.
And kind of kept Dooku in the background, but it is not just us talking about melee having quite a big of a comeback if the top dogs that are currently there get toned down a bit. I think Kiadi is raring to go for a great spot.
I think Jedi in general, Kiadi, Mace.
Yes.
Let's see what they do with Kit.
I think Kiadi, Anakin is going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Like
I would
think
love
Jet.
to have Dooku in that matchup.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jedi, depending on what they do, are going to be back in it big
Are
time.
definitely going to be good, still limited by submission selection, and I think there will be a place for Never Tell Me the Odds, I can tell you that. But I think there will be enough melee running around that running Dooku in your list you will find the right time to play him. And I can say that pretty confidently. Again, I was listening to most recent or the last episode of Rogue Support. The team over there was talking about melee coming back in a pretty big way post rebalance in an ideal world. I think we've seen Kiadi's obviously the number one contender for that third place spot, but we've also seen some great performances out of like Grand Inquisitor and Moff Gideon when it comes to Empire. I think that GI Moff list is also right there on that bubble for when this comes. And again, what a matchup I would love to have Dooku in. I think Vader 1 as a whole will get some love and attention out there. And again, I love putting Dooku across where Vader, like, hey, this is the point that Vader can get to. I'm going to throw Dooku over there and good luck.
Yep.
I'm hoping for some other Separatist changes with the upcoming rebalance.
Yep.
I think they really deserve it at this point. I
We've seen B1s.
I don't think
I'm
just
hoping there's
B1
more.
fixes them, but hopefully more. Because
hopefully more.
If we can get, it sounds stupid, but like the Magna Guards getting buffed, even just back to where they were would be probably fine.
I don't think they will, because
No, but I will say, if in theory that they just undid the nerfs to Magna Guards, Dooku, Kraken, Magnas, Grievous, Kalani B1 list
would be rough.
would be something I would be playing.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I'd like to, so we've talked ad nauseum about Magna Guards. I don't think we need to touch on them a whole lot, but I would like to talk about Django, because for a year and a half, he was the one that people would talk about as, this unit is such an S tier. He is never going away, no matter what happens in the game.
He was one of the first that like people wanted to blow up.
Yeah,
and just start over.
And he got he got the anti-interactive noob catch ability removed,
which is fine.
Because the old Not So Fast was just unfun for someone that didn't know what it was or how it worked, but completely blank ability for anyone that did.
Yeah.
And that was a weird
blank
thing for me with that ability too, is that for me, it felt fine to me. And that might be a hot take territory.
It was fine if you knew what you were doing. It was bad if somebody didn't know about it.
So yeah, so I get the moral take of changing it, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of just like,
and to be clear though, like
competitive brain, I guess, competitive
it
level
was
play
still relevant in competitive play, but it was in a way of, somebody has something in reserve on low hit points, go park Django next to them. They can't use that unit.
It creates an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, I know.
That's all it was.
Being a big meanie.
That being said, I think the new Not So Fast is a better ability that's more relevant more often.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, from an overall gameplay perspective, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have the high-end power of this can be a game-winning ability and turn off an entire activation for your opponent, but is more consistently viable of just giving Django a dash sometimes.
Yes. And occasionally a 5-dice attack. The fact that he has a pull with a pin is also just really strong.
Capture Wire is just...
It's still one of the best.
So good.
One of the best forced movement abilities in the game.
He peaks at 10 damage, which is insane for a secondary.
It is the highest damage of any bounty hunter except Leia.
Getting him to that 10 damage, we all know needs a little bit of a little work, but
he is a character
there.
that desperately wants some extra dice, but defensively and offensively, the expertise is great across the board. There is nothing wrong with Django as a secondary. But what we have seen in the evolution of the game over 3 years is a lot more secondaries that do a lot more for your team. Whether that's moving something, adjusting other people's dice, just overall having a bigger impact on the game than just their own turn. And that is where we've seen this go from an easy S tier secondary that was splashed across the board to maybe doesn't do enough faction-wise, especially as we've gotten more spread out missions and more ranged attacks.
Yeah, this isn't a game anymore where you can just survive on being high stats. There's a lot of games that are like that where it's just, yeah, faction abilities are useful, but like you need to have those just really high baseline stats. And Shatterpoint, I think one of the few stats that you just have to have high is hit points, but after that, like faction synergy carries you.
Part of the likelihood of Django affecting 2 objectives is also very low. The capture wire could, in theory, make that happen, but the fact that shoves are so far down his tree that he has a really hard time getting to on their own. If he had an early shove, we'd still see Django all the time. But that adjusts his ability to affect multiple points on his turn, other than just being a body himself and being able to capture wire someone off. He has a couple ways of getting extra dice, though, either through the bounty hunter method with IG 88, the right one, yeah, or through No Sarai on the Separatist side. And I can tell you, with a couple recent games with him with No Sarai on the other side, wow, does Django hurt when you have some extra dice still.
Yeah.
And still does that job very effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I used to splash Django in my Darth Marion list back in the day. Like, he was just that good.
I played him in my Vader 1 Dooku list back when Vader 1 could give him extra dice in melee, because it would sometimes just push it over the edge for an explosive turn, even with poor melee expertise.
Yep. Just to push it over the top. Get him down his tree. That's what he needs.
I think looking at, again, Dooku's out of the box list probably isn't in the greatest state, even post rebalance. Obviously, unless there's some surprises there that we're not expecting. I think you play Kraken with him in that secondary slot more often than anything else.
Yeah.
Django's still really good.
Django is still good. In terms of the support, Magna Guards, he's the best place for them.
Yep, he is.
They can actually put in work with him. There's better options.
Yeah, like where they really shine with him is having something else that moves on Dooku's turn. Like, the big play with Dooku was always take the Magna Guard with you, and then you get 2 bodies on a point, and it allows you to basically take anything. I don't think in current state of the game that's enough.
No, you need to be getting bodies onto 2 or 3 points early game, and late game the Magna Guards are probably going to have conditions and can't keep up.
They still have double shove on 1 and 2 and still can do that really easily. They're not terrible. So kicking it off, if you're, again, as these episodes are always 4 and the primary chat is always 4, if you are jumping into the game and you want to play Separatists and you want to play Dooku, 1, I think this is, as it always has been, a great box to start on that journey. In the ideal world that you have the core box as well.
Yeah.
Just Dooku out of the box, aside from Asajj, is perfectly fine. Dooku definitely gives Asajj the force that she wants access to. Dooku's best out of the box pairing, especially, again, if you have that core box. Guys, would you say that's Riff or Grievous?
Man, I still really like Grievous myself, but Riff.
I agree.
Yeah, we're I don't know if you missed it, Titus, but Riff or Grievous.
For the best out of the box pairing for Dooku,
Grievous.
I think if you're just getting going and you want to play Separatist, I think it's Dooku Grievous.
Yeah, I think Riff 1 adds a high skill ceiling to.
He is not a good unit to jump into early on.
No, you want to learn some stuff about this game.
Yeah,
I do think.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Okay, you need to see ahead with Riff.
Yeah,
a lot more.
No, I agree with that. I think if you have the core box as well as the Dooku and Grievous boxes, I think you take Asajj's squad of Kalani and the B1s and you place that under Grievous, and then you give Dooku, Kraken, and Magna Guard on Dooku's side.
I would agree. I think that's a very strong team. The Magna Guard's a little bit weak, but again, this is the best place for them. And Kraken is phenomenal as a secondary.
Yeah.
Both Kraken and Kalani still hold up very well. Kalani can have some rough turns on his own, but Kraken is far less susceptible to those rough turns, being able to move himself.
Like, just 10 hit points, protection steadfast. is worth it
So good.
in a lot of cases anyway.
Is so
And then you
good.
add all the utility he has.
And the ranged expertise on both of them is insane. You hit that 2 expertise and they're going down that tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always catches me off guard. Because
Yeah.
they're these droids that just coordinate other droids. You wouldn't think they'd hit hard.
Nah, they shoot very well. Honestly, of all Separatists, I think those like Kraken and Kalani hold up the best.
Yeah, they're still really, really good. Yeah.
All the pieces are there. So again, I'll double down on my hope that it's not just the B1s that are getting changes on the Separatist side. I'd love to see a couple other things as well, but it's slight. They're so close to being there. And if you want to come into this game and play Separatists, no, they're not top of the meta. And even post rebalance, I don't expect them to be either, unless there's a lot more changes that we don't know about. Still one of my best recommendation points alongside Mandalorians on learning this game.
Yeah. And there are still people still championing
100%.
Separatists, like shout out Chris Sampson, right? Like took Separatists to the last GT he played in. So I mean, there are people that have that opinion that there is still hope for them.
And we've even got Matt locally that's still done very well with them.
Yeah,
consistently through even the rougher metas that we have found ourselves in. They still absolutely have a place, and they are still some of my favorite models in the game, some of my favorite lists. Like Dooku and Grievous stand out as 2 of my favorite models I've painted in this game.
Force Lightning Dooku
Is just incredible. Dooku's pose is great. Grievous is by far, I think, the best model in this game still. He is massive and menacing.
Yeah, very, very dynamic model.
Normally, we would jump into some different lists. I don't think there's a crazy amount of options for Separatists still. Again, the boxes we just talked about are kind of the
I have a
boxes
silly
that
one if you
exist.
want to hear it.
And they mix and match really well, despite some people having success with it over the years. There's not much out of faction I think I'd recommend playing Dooku with at this point.
I want to try Dooku with the Morgan box. I want to go Dooku, OB2, B1s, and then
Okay.
the Morgan box, and just have 2 undying supports with a bunch of defensive tech.
And all the force on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And then
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
have to put damage onto Morgan.
I think Separatist gives a new player a lot of different options to try different things, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of play here. Also, if you happen to pick up the Mother Talisman box, Savage, is it also an interesting secondary to
With
maybe plug
Separatist.
in? And yeah, as Separatist, plug and play to try that as well too. So I think, again, as a new player, if you're just coming to the game late, I think they give you a lot of different options to just experiment, which is super nice when you're just getting going.
Yeah, Separatists have a surprisingly good roster of secondaries, and it's fun to experiment with them.
The last point I will throw out there is if you want to see Separatists truly shine, including the rest of this box and a bunch of other pieces, play them in Legendary Encounters. We mentioned it in the Legendary Encounter episode, but wow, are droids just incredible there.
Yep, they do a very good job in Legendary Encounters because a lot of the strength of Separatists is their secondaries. And when the secondaries are leading your list and you get the the faction synergy across all 4 squads in a cadre, it's phenomenal.
I think Separatists, are still my favorite faction in the game. Tag.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They're fun.
They're fun,
Yeah,
they're
they're great.
thematic, and they work how they should.
They don't feel overpowered. They feel decent on the table every time you play them. Like, they do their job. The only problem they have is defensive. And if the B1s are any indication, that could be changing. Like, they could be getting fixed in a way that is thematic and fun.
Yeah, and like if we see, because I think past the B1s, my next, this is the thing in Separatists that should be changed, is probably the B2s.
I'd like Magna Guards, but like, are they going to touch them after they've already nerfed them? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, so yeah, for me it'd be B1s, B2s.
Just give the B2s like 4 more hit points. It'll be silly and fun and good.
B2s. We don't touch Kalani or Kraken. We said they're fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah, they're-
Kalani being able
The
to
Rift
dash
box is
himself,
too
I
early.
think would be a really nice thing, but is
It's
that
not
too much?
necessary.
It's
No.
probably a hope. That's probably a hopeful more than anything
Yeah,
else.
because like that's the ability that that Aiden has at that point. That's the same tactic.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it
that's
was
fair.
we chatted before deciding we were going to do Dooku on, do we think Dooku's going to see some changes? And I read this card and I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong here.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just
maybe change the tactic to range 4 or no range. Like,
yeah, if I were to ask for anything on Dooku, it would be that.
yeah. It's unfortunate meta circumstances is what.
Yeah, which might just change it up. Again, if we end up in a heavy melee meta, Dooku has a home. And if you're playing, again, you're getting into this game, you're playing out of the core box, that's most of what you have, and you throw the Dooku box into that mix, you're going to have a great time. And that has never changed. So Separatists are fun, is where we're ending this.
They are.
Anything else you guys want to add?
I don't think so.
No,
Nope,
I
super
can't
stoked
say
for
so.
Saturday. Gonna get some games in. We'll do a full breakdown. I guess
And every
in
time we do one of
2
these
weeks.
episodes,
You want to play the primary?
I want
that
to
we
play the
just talked about?
primary. Now I want to bring Dooku on Saturday.
There you go.
Every time I say,
If I could play the newbie ones, I think I would do that. But
yeah, like at this point, that's what I'm excited about too.
yeah, yep. Anyway, this has been a fairly long episode as is, but it was really great to catch up with you guys,
Yeah, of
listeners,
course.
and my co-hosts here. With that, what are your favorite Dooku lists? Anything for Separatists you'd like to see when it comes to rebalance? Throw that in the Discord. The link is always in the show notes. And I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Have a good night, guys.
Have
See
a
you in
good
a
night,
couple
guys.
weeks, folks. Peace.